Alright, so starting at this end of the garden, I have this serrano plant, serrano pepper. I bought a pack of 4 pre-grown seedlings. This one actually did pretty well, but I think I put it out here way too early. It actually grew and got pretty huge though. So maybe I should have put some of my other plants out a little earlier, but I feel like I put this one in just a little too early. Right here, I have a couple of flowers that never blossomed. I started them indoors, brought them out, and I see a bunch of leaves sprouting out, but no flowers. And then on the other hand, I have these African marigolds. The African marigolds I bought from the plant store way too late. I probably bought them in the latter part of the season, and most of them died, but these things, like, they grow back big time. It's 2 I see that are growing in, one here on the side at the bottom here, like trying to show right there, right there. And then there's another one coming through. You can see the bud about to burst into a beautiful flower. Those, I'd say not to give up on them too quick. I put them in pots and I felt like they were dead or dying, so I just tossed those out. But the ones that I put in a raised bed garden are doing really well. And then I have either a scorpion or a scotch bonnet. I mixed all of those up pretty bad. Didn't label any of them. Yeah, I won't do that again. Those I brought out way too late, I feel. Even the ones that I have in pots, they're just not gonna be big enough to produce any fruit anytime soon. Here I have cherry tomatoes. I've grown cherry tomatoes enough times to know better, but these things are space hogs. All tomato plants are, and this raised bed is not at all enough space. Next to it is a beefsteak, which I'm getting a couple of tomatoes coming from it. I don't know if you can even tell the difference here. They're all tangled up because I planted them right next to each other. They share about a 1 by 2 square foot space. So yeah, they need a lot more space. I think I'm gonna have a decent harvest this year. Right here, I have mustard greens. Made the same mistake with my mustard greens that I made with my romaine lettuce. I just threw down a ton of seeds, and a lot of them germinated, a lot of them grew, and I just didn't harvest them the way I probably should have, and they were all entangled. It's a bunch of dead leaves at the bottom. It's kind of crazy. Next, I have my habanero. I probably did the best job with this one, and I'm gonna get a ton of fruit, I feel. They're all starting to peek out now. The plant is pretty huge. I started it indoors from seed. Super proud. It's even bigger than the serrano that I have. Next to it, I have a jalapeno that I didn't bring out until like 2 weeks ago. So I waited way too late on that one. Same thing with another scorpion slash scotch bonnet that I have here. And this, I think, is a bell pepper that just started growing. Like, it's been in here forever, but it wasn't until I put the other peppers in here and the other plants that it actually decided to grow. And actually, oddly, it started growing when the mustard green started covering it up some. And here's a regular marigold that has thrived in a raised bed environment too. Maybe they just don't like pots or being transplanted. Last, I have my trellis that is covered in plants. So I have one cucumber, one regular cucumber, which that's just what it said on the package, just cucumber. Started from seed. It's sprouting a ton of fruit. Like, you see these things everywhere. I found out how I can pollinate them personally instead of waiting on bees and bugs to do it for me, and that's been going pretty decent. I got a bunch of big fruit coming in. I was watching a video where this guy was picking his while they were about this size. I'm not used to cucumbers being that small, so I probably should pick them, but I won't. I'm gonna wait until they get bigger. And then I have this muncher cucumber that's been growing a ton of leaves, but the fruit is still small. I don't think any of it has been pollinated or started to grow. I can't even find these things half the time, but when I do, they're really quite small, like haven't started growing into real fruit yet. Here's one right there. But yeah, there's a bunch of flowers in there somewhere. They're covering this trellis. And then I have one red noodle bean, which starts right there, has some eggshells at the base, and it grows and winds through this entire trellis. It actually ran out of space. It started growing off of the trellis and then came back to the trellis and started growing up the trellis again. I don't even know if you can follow that, but it's here right now, and I don't have a bigger space for it to go, so it'll probably just wrap itself around itself and go all over the place. A couple of beans are about to sprout. That's one bean, and another one about to shoot out. So this plant is pretty awesome. Wish I had more space for it to just climb and grow everywhere.